and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade Independence. We set tonight's scene once again at the very familiar museum, the Robin Silverbird Art Institute. Tonight, it seems as though the museum has closed early. For whatever reason, perhaps Robin has just not really felt like having people in her haven. She's lounging around by the fountain at this point. She's got her large sketchbook out and her charcoals, and she's working on a piece while she awaits some people that she has been meaning to speak to.
At this point, Seth will give his customary 3 taps on the door.
Well, she's in the main lobby, so you don't have to knock.
Oh, fountain. Okay, never mind. Alright. Please excuse me, mistress. I thought you might be liking one of these. And he offers you a tray with the customary, lightly simmering blood in it.
She offers him a very slight smile. It's very calm tonight, and she'll reach out, take the drink. Thank you, sir.
You're quite welcome, mistress. Seeing that his very much beloved employer is occupied at the moment, Seth will quietly stand in attendance, and though he seems to have something on his mind, but is quite happy to wait very patiently in his usual companionable silence.
Robin can sort of tell, I would say, a little bit, just because she's known Seth for so long, that he might have something to say to her. But she'll draw for a moment longer before she'll look up to him and go, "You know, I heard you were spending some time with Everly the other day. She's been having some problems, I hear."
Aye, mistress. The poor dear's been plagued by nightmares of late. I met the, as you might have recalled from my reports, we called in an acquaintance of I'm sorry, it's not cross, it's crimson. Yes, we called in an acquaintance of Master Crimson's, and interesting fellow, very skilled, not very big on the courtesy from what I've noticed, but I'm just a ghoul. It's to be expected, but left me with quite a mixed impression. Very good at what he does, though.
Yes, I've encountered this one, Jackson. One other occasion, he arrived right before we had that, what did they call it? I believe the Brujah were calling it Fight Night. She shrugged. But I did not speak with him for very long. He's not of Camarilla affiliation, but he is under our protection. He is an anarch.
Ah, that would quite possibly explain some things.
Indeed, you should take a drink.
As a matter of fact, mistress, this brings upon a rather interesting thought that I've been percolating for a while, if you'll please excuse the pun. He says as he raises his eyebrow at the simmering blood. And um, about the uh, about the matter of the former priory. From what I recall, the family has allowed to slip into disrepair since the owner tried to restore things. I I would like to offer the suggestion that perhaps you might wish to purchase the the, the property in question. Um, in this way, it would allow your agents to move about certain with a certain amount of freedom, whereas trying to gain access through other means might draw unwanted attention. After your affairs are concluded, you can do any number of things, including um, perhaps trying to donate it to the historical society as as a means of furthering your influence within the community. As a suggestion.
I always appreciate your suggestions, Seth. Very thoughtful. And smart idea, in fact. I think I will work on acquiring said building.
As you say, madam, if there's anything I can do to be of service, please do let me know.
Of course, of course. Though perhaps, she ponders, perhaps I would prefer if you took more of a bookwork uh, position on this with my daughter. She looks at him kind of worried, like look in her face. Only because I'm very fond of you, Seth. You've been in my family a long time. I wasn't aware that Eve was going to call you into that situation.
I'm always happy to serve, madam. And if it is all right, I must say that I'm uh, equally as fond of yourself and Everly. In fact, I do tend to see her as another one of my nieces, such as it is.
And Robin would nod to this. Yes, Eve is easy to be fond of, that's for sure. Though, I worry with you being out there. Independence is not Vegas. Vegas, while it had its problems, places. Almost like they sent us here to get us killed.
with with all due respect to your Sith thinks about it, is he's always very careful with his words. With all due respect to your in incalculable experience, madam, I I was a soldier, and I do still strive to maintain a lot of my old skills. I I'm I'm very touched that you have such high regard for me, but I will never be a true liability to you.
It's not that I worry that you would be a liability. It's more of I would be heartbroken or something to happen to you.
The air's still on, or you want me to turn it off?
Oh, hold on a second, guys.
The air conditioner
Sorry about that. She would look to Seth and go, honestly, Seth, if I'm going to be blunt, there is a part of me that has been considering finding a way to make you stronger, more resilient, to be one of my soldiers, as it were. Right now, if Mr. Fox, for example, the bastard, were to come in here, you could fight, you could do a number of things, but he'd kill you.
I have a series of contingencies should the esteemed uh, personage in question try any further amount of nonsense. I have also taken steps to ensure that the training of our security personnel is more equipped to respond to such an affront. And if I have my way, even at the expense of my life, if necessary, that individual will be placed in a box with a stake in his heart and a thorough report sent to the inner circle. He would in fact be lucky if I do not place him into torpor myself.
Oh, Seth. Would the neonates have your fire? She shakes her head.
Well, with all due respect to the honorable neonates, they may be neonates, but they've never been a member of the Queen's Royal Scottish Dragoons.
Well, no, but there is one who was a soldier of sorts. Or two, really.
Oh yes, the sheriff. I haven't actually met her yet, though I've heard good things. Um, Apparently she has the same name as one of my nieces.
Hmm. Well, isn't that just a coincidence?
I've I've never heard her. I've never heard her last name though. So
As though on cue, the one of the side doors opens up after several hefty thuds of combat booted feet upon the polished floor of the museum. Upon opening, it reveals a rather haggard-looking blonde woman, tall and broad across the shoulder, rather well muscled in what looks like a tack vest and a sleeveless top underneath, with plain black cargo trousers, carrying the head of what looks like a skinned dog that's slowly dripping blood every few paces. Amelia herself looks as though she's been through hell. There's like cuts and bite marks on her arm, and there's blood splattered across her face. She just kind of almost marches up to where Robin sat, holds the dog's head out and says, "Would someone mind explaining what the fuck these things are doing in my office?"
and and Seth Seth says nothing. For the first time in his life, he says nothing as he looks at this beautiful Scottish warrioress, and his face goes utterly white, and he almost mouths, "Amelia."
No, I was just sitting there talking to my new prisoner, and this thing just fucking comes out of fucking nowhere, and I've got to just try and rip its fucking head off.
The prince clears her throat. Miss Mackenzie. And she's just kind of giving you a look about the language more than anything, but then she will turn to this, the head.
It is substantially larger than the ones that Eve had seen, possibly the size of, let's say, a large Irish wolfhound.
Oh Lord. She's frowning at that. And she's gonna go, alright, Amelia. Since I'm having a feeling the hound has not passed this information to you, which she sounds very annoyed about, we have a bit of a mage problem, as I keep being told. These things...
I know about that, ma'am. But I've been told to come out of shadows. This one came out of the fucking corner of the room.
Her eyes widen.
And from what I've heard, there was supposed to be as big as, like, what's they call it? You know, the ones that didn't have tails and they'd used as guard dogs. But this fucker was huge.
Robin looks speechless, and that's when she looks to Seth again. This is what I'm talking about, Seth, in Independence. This kind of threat.
Seth is as white as a sheet, and his eyes are bulging, and his mouth is just barely managing to stay up and not go completely agape. And he just mouths, Amelia.
Safe? Who's safe? Have we got another vampire in town that no one told me about?
No. This is Seth McDowell. He is, my private ghoul.
And this time it was Amelia's turn to do a double take. As she kind of blinks a few times, glances over to him, eyes him very scrutinizingly for a few moments. We've met, right?
Seth just kind of shakes his head and just has the very briefest of smiles on his face as you say that. It's me, my dear. It's Uncle Seth.
Wait. Oh fuck, are you Dad's friend?
It's been a long time, and actually you can see tears of what is quite possibly a combination of joy and grief and whatnot. Because if she's here, and if she's the same Amelia that he's heard of, it can only mean that she's been turned into a vampire, which has a whole bunch of other things to that. And he just smiles, and I'm gonna actually roll a willpower check to actually keep him from outright sobbing at this point, because damn, just because, you know,
Oh, yeah.
just damn. Um,
Rolling then, Amelia will grin and reply, Christ, I have been seeing you since you and Dad came back from the Gulf. And then she quickly kind of brings herself up to attention and salutes him. Sir, sorry.
and just a moment. Let's see. 3, 5. That's a total of 5. And Seth almost imperceptibly gives her a salute back. But then, and if I fail this, not only does Seth actually start to cry, but he's actually, well, he's still gonna hug her, but he'll be holding her while sobbing at the same time. So, like, yeah, like, Robin can see there are tears coming out of Seth's eyes. And
Crying.
he just steps forward and just completely forgets about the salute. He's crying and he just wraps her in a big hug, and he just stands there for a good few minutes and just cries. And
Meanwhile, Amelia is wide-eyed, looking at Robin like, "Help me!"
The prince takes an unnecessary breath, and she just kind of allows this tender moment to occur. That's almost like fate, isn't it? And she looks between them. Odd that you two would know each other. One of my protectors that I've had for nearly 30 years, and then my sheriff.
Alright.
And Seth is just quietly saying, Amelia, I've missed you. I love you so much." And he just kind of steps back and attempts to dry his face and tries to comport himself. If you want me to roll for it, I will. But he's trying to comport himself.
Oh no, it's fine. Just role play it out. It feels more natural that way.
Sorry, man.
My dad was in the Queen's Royal Dragoon Guards when was it Major when you left, sir?
Now there's a title I haven't heard in years, but to me, in private anyway, your dad just called me Seth. We've saved each other's lives more often than either of us could count. But I was a major. What of you, last I heard you were following in his footsteps. How do you come by independence?
Quite a long story actually, sir. Now I had joined the Queen's Dragoon Guards back when he left, but I was on manoeuvres. Well, I was on operations out in Iraq, and I met someone. So after my tours came up, we both left and tried to settle in Scotland. But circumstances happened, and now I'm here instead.
Oh my dear, I'm so happy to see you. I never would have expected to see you here. Due to this, I can only have some inkling then of what may have happened to you during your travels to find yourself in this high position for
Don't do that, alright?
I'm in no position to say anything to anyone, and I'm just merely holding on to my own emotions at this point. But I'm proud of you. I really am, and I'm sorry that we had to rekindle our acquaintance this way. It's not how I would have done things. Seth just kind of looks a little bit sad and goes quiet for a while.
Sorry, Mum. I just haven't seen it since I was this high. And she kind of holds one hand off the ground by about like 3 feet.
And as if to emphasize the point, although it might have been a little slightly older than that maybe, because I kind of see him as sort of being there for your birthdays and whatnot. He actually pulls out a little photo, or it's like I guess it's a little gold shaped heart locket, and you see his niece and nephew on one side, and you see a little adorable photo of Amelia.
Yeah, some of them I got lost in translation there. Probably a British term phrase, but if someone from Britain says I haven't seen you since you were this big, it just means that you've not seen them in a long time.
Oh, okay. My bad. I'm sorry, but essentially, as if to emphasize the point, he pulls out this hammered gold heart shaped locket with a photo of her on one side looking all like 12 kinds of adorable, and his niece and nephew on the other side.
Robin will look at this, smile, nod. It is quite interesting how people in Independence keep getting reunited. She smiled.
After a moment of nostalgia, Seth will just kind of go, and he'll kind of put the locket around his neck. Well then, I would imagine that you have things to discuss. I'll be here if you need me, Mom. And Amelia, my dear, we really must talk. And he'll sort of offer her an affectionate squeeze on the shoulder and just say quietly, I'm proud to see the kind of woman you've become. And he'll just very quietly excuse himself for a few minutes.
Well, while Seth excuses himself, she's going to turn to Amelia. Amelia, I might need your help with something eventually, on a more personal matter. But for now, these dogs, what are we doing about them?
I'm just killing every single one I see.
Well, that's fine if there's only a finite number of them. But that is something I do not know, how many are actually in the city. My fear is that some of the younger vampires will not be able to handle these particular canines. Now, we've been told we need to go after a particular mage and deal with that situation that might make them go away. What do you suggest?
I'm no expert on mages, ma'am. Have you got someone in the city that knows a bit about them?
I don't know very much about mages myself. Even as old as I am, they're not exactly kindred friendly. I suppose then I'll have to send the hound after them. You'll have to focus on these.
Aye, ma'am, that's what I was thinking. No offence to Chell, but I've got my hands full with these guys, the fucking werewolf outside of town, and a whole host of other things. I've had a fucking celebrity turn up at my office.
Oh?
Do you know someone called the Black Rose, ma'am?
And that's when Robin drops her cup.
Aye, I've got her all shackled up down at the office.
Upon hearing the shattering of glass, Seth will actually run back in and check to make sure she's okay, and then arrange for someone to clean up the mess while he actually gets her a second glass and just sort of quietly asks if you have no objections, Mom, maybe I should stay, and maybe between the three of us we can come up with some ideas to help you with this problem.
Right, of course. Amelia, you have the Black Rose in your office.
Indeed I do, ma'am.
What has she been saying to you? Like, now Robin is getting very weary.
Aye. I was thinking the same things as well. Is she trying to play us for something? But from what I can tell, she's trying to get rid of her sire.
Amelia, do you know how many of us she's killed?
Aye, I've read Victor's files, ma'am.
Not surprised he has a file on her. She kind of rolls her eyes very slightly. Be careful. She's not just physically strong or skilled with her blade. She's manipulative.
Ma'am, with all due respect, she's not the only one around here.
Obviously.
If I might offer a suggestion, perhaps we might call in the services of I'm sorry, would it be Miss or Mr. Star? Sorry, Anthony's character.
Oh, Miss Starharker.
Perhaps Miss Harker might be of some use, as maybe weaving some subtle magics might allow us to work with her with a minimal degree of danger or risk. Also, perhaps it might allow us to get to the truth of the matter.
I'm going to have to decline that suggestion. Now, see, my thinking is this. She's the other side. She said herself she was sent in to kill me. Now, she's given herself up to me so I can get back and take out her sire. Whether she's just using us to take out the sire or what, makes no difference to me. If we can get information on when he is, then we can take out a high-ranking position in the enemy. Now, the problem with bringing in a Tremere is they have dealings with both sides as far as I can tell. I don't want to get out to anyone that's not in this room that we've got here, because that just makes us a giant target.
Indeed it does.
I wonder if it might just be more appropriate to put her in a torpor and follow her movements through the blood, so to speak, and do some actual old-fashioned investigative work. As you say, if she's as dangerous as we seem to believe, she cannot just be allowed to have free access to the city.
Oh, no, she's not got free access to the city. I've got her chained up in one of Victor's cells. She's not getting out of there.
What about her various vampiric abilities, like her voice, her eyes, and anything like that? Any means of enforcing her will could be dangerous. Maybe we should put her into temporary torpor until we figure out exactly what the best strategy is.
Miss Mackenzie, what do you think is the most appropriate course of action? You are our sheriff. You are the protector of my city and myself.
I'd like to keep her awake, ma'am. She's been a good source for intel so far. And now I know that she might be taking us for a ride here, but that's why I'm just double checking everything. You know me, ma'am, I like my intel, I like my recce. Now, in regards to her using her voice and all that shit, I've had a thought about that. You see, as far as I can tell from what she's telling me, she's part of your clan, man. So I'd like to give you this. And she hands a key over to Robin.
Just in case she tries to manipulate you?
Aye, ma'am, I know you'll set me back on the right path.
Indeed. Interesting, though, that she gave herself up. That's unusual.
You mentioned that she's part of the other side. Could this be an elaborate element of a Sabbat scheme to access the city?
Aye, that was my thinking. She gets access to me through whatever ways she does it. That's why I've given Miss Silverbed that key there, so she can't get out without me going through Robin.
If you didn't mind, I might have a suggestion. I might be able to use myself as well as some of the officers of the Silverbird Defense Force to sort of create a net of inquiry, you might say. If the honored sheriff has more hands and eyes on the ground, it might allow us to get to the bottom of this in a very quick and easy fashion.
No offence to you, but from what I can tell, because you're warm, and from what I've seen of your guards here, you're all where your fucking depth with this shite here. I mean, you're talking about probably some of the deadliest fucking vampires in the state.
I assure
these
you,
guys, I don't even want to go one-on-one with.
while hands and eyes can be used for more than fighting, my dear, as you well know, and I'm not so much suggesting that any of the security force go head to head, but having eyes on the ground that can provide um, on-site intel and some such, would be a, a wee bit of a boon, I should think.
I would not suggest sending my ghouls out there. If one of you were to be captured, the things they would do. She shakes her head. No.
I said, that's what I'm talking about. It's not the fact that you're going to be going into combat with them. Have you not seen a Simitsi when he gets his hands on you?
As you mentioned, I I was in the Gulf, so having that as a reference point, I can have some clear idea. But our very first priority is the safety of the city and its kindred. Not to mention the people of the city themselves.
Yes, and I agree with that. Which, if we're being more practical than caring, each of the people in my task force, each of the people that defend me as my ghouls, each one of you know where I sleep. If one of you were to be captured, you do not have the resistances that I would have against them mentally. They would pull that information out of you, and then I would be staked. The city
Uh,
would crumble if I
and
fell.
if you if you'd pardon me, Mum, the the I guess officers that are of lesser seniority um don't actually know where you sleep. They just get instructions to go here, investigate here, or check this, do this. The only ones that know where you sleep exactly is yourself, your family, and myself. So there's no fear about that being leaked.
I still don't think it's a good idea. I usually listen to most things you tell me, Seth. Do not get me wrong. I understand where you're coming from with this. But I feel as though it would be detrimental to the city to send my ghouls out. Which brings me to what I wanted to talk to you about for Mr. Kinsman. Now, I know this is something you have not wanted. I know we have talked about this before, Seth. But I feel in my heart that it is perhaps time to allow me to embrace you as one of us. And she'll
Seth,
look at that.
Seth just kind of closes his eyes and thinks for a moment. Well, that is the thing. I I will never say that I couldn't have asked for anything better in an employer, or if you'll pardon my openness of my feelings, um, people that I've come to consider an extension of my family. But I feel I'm of more use to you as I am presently, as I can protect you when you're most vulnerable. Anyone wishing to harm you would have to go through me first, and any other members or elements of defense that you and I have previously discussed. I However, due to the exceptional relationship that we share, is I will never directly say no, so far as my loyalty is concerned. But to step from the twilight into the darkness would mean that I would be unable to, or I feel that I would be unable to do my job effectively. And it would also mean that I would have to cut ties with my family back in Scotland, and to do that without so much as a word, it would cause a great deal of concern across the sea. It's not something I would wish to bring upon anyone.
My fear is that something you're going to have to understand with why I'm saying this. While you are an exceptional human, you're exceptionally strong, you are not a match for Amelia, you're not a match for me, you're not a match for the Black Rose, or a number of the creatures. We are like stone and you are like paper mache when it comes to that. I hate to say that, but I have to admit that, as I said, even though you think this building is safe, there is still so much at stake having you on the front line without you being one of us. And I do not think it would hamper you in any way to stay in my service if you were kindred. You could be enhanced. I can see things you cannot. I can hear things that you cannot. I can look at someone and tell you that they are a vampire, or a ghoul, or a human, or a number of different things. I can identify that with just my eyes, using the powers of the blood. Someone could easily fool you. Someone could easily manipulate your mind. Just as I was fearful of with Amelia. Were you in my clan, I could teach you over time. I could strengthen your mind, strengthen your vision, your senses. You would be more use to the city as a whole than you could even imagine. Now, I know how hard it is to leave your family behind. It's not easy to do that. I did it 500 years ago. More so. She looks to Amelia, and I'm sure Miss Mackenzie here has left quite a few people behind as well. Normally, in vampire societies, but even Camarilla, as more refined we are than this thought, do not usually give choice. Many of us are ambushed. She sighed. Because of your station as my ghoul, if I wanted to right now, Seth, I could just claim you, turn you into a kindred, make you one of the night, but I won't do that to you. But I will humbly ask your permission to allow me to save you, because this city, I am afraid in this city that you will perish. I am afraid, Seth. It is not something you'll ever hear a monarch me ever say again, that I will lose you. That she takes a breath and kind of plays with her hair, not making eye contact after saying that.
Seth's going to really think about this for a few minutes. Amelia, if your character wants to add anything, now's the time, because Seth is just very much going to ponder this.
Nope. She is letting the madam speak.
It's my girl. But, in character reference, no worries. Who would be in a position to protect you during the day? If we if I went along with this, I would need to investigate an appropriate replacement, as I would not be in a position to coordinate actions during the day. Obviously. And until I hear or am given examples of the fruits of my labors, as far as the training of the security force, there's no one presently amongst our number that I would trust to that level to keep you safe during the hours where you're vulnerable. Sorry guys, did I lose the both of you?
Nope, I'm still here. Did we lose Ken?
I was muted and talking, wow. Robin will look to him and go, none of us are truly safe during the day, even with our ghouls. I mean, you heard about what happened with Mr. Maverick. He has 2 ghouls. And she frowned. He was taken from his home during the day.
About that, I was going to look into that myself with the aid of his coterie and perhaps an agent of the sheriff if she's willing, of course. But to have a member of your council or a member of your court kidnapped like this does not do well, madam. That is a thing I would like to see vehemently rectified.
Oh, of course. And I'd like to see that rectified.
I will make a compromise with you. Give me a few days to think on this. Is for all my inadequacies, I'm a soldier, and I am near afraid to put my life on the line if necessary. The idea of dying has never held any sway over me. I will think on this, and if you can provide me with a satisfactory alternate means for my being present for you during the day, I will acquiesce to this. I would ask for a boon or two in such a case. However, I'm of course mean no disrespect, but if I am to give up my nieces and 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 my nephew and my family as a whole, I would like them to be taken care of, and some assistance in perhaps staging my own death. Should it come to that, I don't want them feeling a need to search for me. I don't want any more of my family to come into this if I can avoid it.
Indeed. I understand completely, Seth. I'm giving you time to think on all of this. Though, were you to stay my ghoul forever, eventually if it comes to that, he looks at Seth. You're never going to age as long as you continue to drink my blood. That would become dangerous. Very dangerous, very quickly. For your family to grow old, and your nieces and nephews to grow up and become elderly, and you to still look, well, quite youthful. Eventually.
Begging your pardon. Eventually, though, all children must grow up, and eventually they will lead their own lives, and they won't need their uncle so much anymore.
They will always need their uncle. But so do Amelia and Everly.
Well, I have some catching up to do where one of them is concerned, and Seth will actually kind of attempt to discreetly dry his eyes, and I want to see about helping Everly with her nightmares. That troubles me greatly.
Robin nods to that. Indeed.
Please forgive me if I come off as somewhat prideful, madam, but everything I say comes from a position of love for you all. Well, I don't have 500 years of experience. I still have the Gulf War, and it's very hard for a soldier to see himself as inadequate. We're not allowed to fail or to think ourselves inferior, and I'm sure that Amelia can attest to this. With your permission, I will have an answer for you the instant you can give me an answer as to how we can keep you safe during the day. Is this acceptable?
Of course. Now, you two have much to catch up on, and Robin will gather her sketchbook and her charcoals to Amelia, and then looks at the head and frowns. Amelia, perhaps you and Jeff could talk. You both have the best tactical minds in the city, after all, she smiled.
But I'm not going to be sending any ghouls into danger where there's going to be real vampires. All due respect.
Oh, I completely respect that, and I agree with you wholeheartedly, Miss Mackenzie. I'm not sending any of my ghouls in. And she gives Seth, like, a bit of a look when she says that. None of them.
Just oh, what the heck? I'm just gonna play along. you see Seth kind of just do like a semi good natured like nuts. You know, like he snaps his finger and like nuts. She gave me a direct order. I can't wiggle out of that. and he just chuckles and smiles and goes, I won't do anything that might endanger myself or any of the other officers.
Sorry, I think I totally missed that one. What did you say?
Oh, he just kind of he just kind of snaps his finger and sort of does a good-natured, playful, "Ah, nuts! She got me. She gave me a direct order. I can't wiggle out of that one." So she's like, I won't go into any combat zones. And he just smiles.
Gaffer's orders, sir.
Indeed.
It was at this point, though, that Robin's cell phone would start ringing.
Robin would pull the cell phone out.
Anna's number is the one that's ringing in.
She'll put it up to her ear. Anna!
Mom, I'm scared.
Anna, where are you? What's going on?
I'm at my haven. I think they're gone now, though.
Who's they?
The people that took Mitch. I think they were here.
You stay right there. I'm sending over somebody immediately.
Okay. No. I think they might be watching. I'll come outside.
She just kind of like rubs her temples. Just hold on for a while, Anna, alright? Just be careful. You go outside. They might see you.
Oh, I can hide really well.
Stay in hiding. I'll send someone to pick you up.
Oh, okay, Mom.
Be careful. Stay safe.
I will. Please hurry.
Of course. She'll hang up the phone. She'll curse and walk back and forth for a moment, and then look to Amelia, actually. Amelia, I need you to go get Anna immediately.
Yes, Mom, you got an address.
Yes, and she'll recite Anna's address.
Amelia nods. Turns to Seth. Holds out the skinless dog head. You take this.
No problem, my dear. And
that point, I'm going to ask for a courage test from Seth.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just double check where that was. 1, 2. Okay, that's 4 dice.
Standard difficulty. So 6 pluses.
Okay. He handles it like a champ.
There's something about the head that kind of unnerves Seth a bit. Like, handling it makes in every single inch of his skin just crawl, like there's something not right about anything to do with this severed head. Might be because it's a severed head, might be because it's a large skinless dog's head, but it could just be something slightly more than that.
I got 3 successes.
Yeah, I mean, he's totally fine. There's just something that puts him on edge about the head.
I'll is there a method you would wish me to dispose of this in?
Uh, no, it's all yours. If you can find someone that can make use of it, go at it. But I've got to go now.
Mm. Seth will take it and sort of look to Robin for instruction, as you can't really bury something like this in the backyard. So,
Incinerate it, she says, like waving her hand. She's clearly distressed right now, though. Anna is in trouble, so she's cares less about the dog head right now. She's like, Anna, Anna, Anna.
oh
And
no,
then,
that's fine.
like, hurrying out.
Seth will go and handle the dog head and eventually come back with a new clean set of his traditional white gloves. May I ask about Miss Anna, Mum? What exactly is the matter?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't hear the last bit.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said I'm. It's been handled, Mum. If you wouldn't mind, may I ask what's the matter with Miss Anna?
Miss Anna? She sighed. The people who went after Mitch, the ones who took him, might have been outside of her house. She looks very distressed.
If I might make a suggestion, if you would wish to send some appropriate individuals to see if there might be some kind of trace evidence that we might be able to track back to them, this might be an opportunity to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. As I was about to go and ask about him to his coterie mates, as it were. I was just waiting for a confirmation phone call.
And she, looks to him. I will handle all of that after Anna is safe. Now I'm going to be waiting by the door for her arrival. Perhaps I'll make some calls in the time being. Probably get Eric in on it, and perhaps Lucas. Either way.
Out of character, if you wouldn't mind doing the typing aspect of it, Seth can say, if you would like, ma'am, I can handle those phone calls for you.
And she nods. Thank you.
Will there be anything else, Mum?
No, Seth. You may retire for the evening after that.
Very good, Mum. If you would let me know when you'd like to depart, I will bring the car around
She nods.
and Seth will go off to make those phone calls.
Alright. I would say that is where we can cut the scene. So, thank you players for playing, thank you watchers for watching, and we will see you next time on another episode of Vampire the Masquerade Independence.